Well, I'm here at a coffee house and I'm waiting for my programmer that I'm going to be interviewing. You know, for me, coming up with this idea of digicrib.com is so exciting, and I just don't want it to end up on paper like my other ideas and like a lot of people's other ideas, you know what I mean? And so what I did was, it took me a while. I found probably the only programmer I could find in this area. I really didn't even know programmers were out here, but I'm lucky that I found him, and I'm going to interview him and figure out if he's going to be a match for me to get my company up and running. James?
Jojo, how you doing, man?
Hey, good to meet you, man.
Yeah.
Have a seat, have a seat.
Thank you.
So, that is a big computer.
Yeah, man. I like it. I like
It's
it big.
huge.
Bigger's better.
Bigger's better, huh? So anyway, I was trying to find a lot of programmers. What is it? Programmer, developer, hacker, coder?
Yeah.
Is that all the same? Like,
It's all the
thing?
same to me, yeah.
Okay.
I do all of the above, yeah.
Okay. And what's amazing is that I couldn't find anyone in the Panhandle area. I mean, you know, yeah, you find some in Pensacola here and there and whatever. And I was even trying to go, you know, to the meetups
Yeah.
and trying to find it, because in LA, where I live, like in the Santa Monica area, you got hundreds and hundreds of meetups just on programmers, so it's easy for me to do that. But because I'm out here in Destin, I came up with an idea for a company. It's called DigiCrib, okay? And you've heard of Airbnb, right?
Yeah.
And you've heard of VRBO.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that? Vacation Rental by Owners? Well, Vacation Rental by Owners started like about 20 years ago. And then Airbnb just started like maybe about 3 years ago. They're both billion-dollar companies, basically, valuation-wise, right? And I came up with something. I had my aha moment when I was at my beach house, and basically it was to come up with DigiCrib. Originally, DigiCrib was to try to help renters find properties. But then you got the Airbnbs, you got all these other ones, rental.com, everything, you know what I mean? So what I wanted to do is I wanted to change that proposition and help homeowners. Okay, so basically it's like this. If you own a home, if you have a beach home, your rental income is not known from year to year. Do you agree?
Right, yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
your rental one year could be higher, next year could be lower.
Yeah.
But what if my company were to give you a guaranteed rental income year after year, because you know expenses come in all the time like clockwork, but the money that's coming in isn't all the time like clockwork, and that's what my company plans on doing.
Very cool.
And so I have a bunch of ideas on that, but I needed someone like you to try to put it together, because I'm the idea man. I have, you know, the shows behind me, I have the clients behind me, I have the friends, we have the backing, the money. We just don't have the programmer.
Right.
So as far as programming, what languages do you think I should program this in?
Well, you know, it all really depends on what you want to do, how fast you want to develop the software, the application, what kind of, how many clients and how much traffic you plan on having coming to the site and stuff like that. But typically for something like this, I would normally say develop it in the server side in Java or something like that.
Java?
Yeah.
You know, I hear a lot of C++ and whatever. What is that?
Well, it just totally depends on what you want to do and really how fast you want to develop. It also depends on your team that you have developing with you and what they're familiar with and comfortable with.
Okay.
So one of the great things about Java is that Java has a ton of different frameworks and pre-packaged packages, if you will, that you can import into Java and rapidly develop high-end scalable applications. Where C++, there's fewer C++ programmers or engineers out there. It's more of an engineer's language.
Right.
And it can still do a lot of the cool stuff, but a lot of times C++ takes a little bit longer to.
So Java is
get
what you recommend?
Project. Yeah, I would say something like Java. Yeah, I just did a big project here in town for a custom point of sale system.
Okay.
And it was based on Java on the server side. So.
Got it. And then as far as like programming, what could you do for me?
Well, so as far as the programming goes, I could definitely do front-end stuff for you, and that's what my specialty really lies in. I've been doing front-end for a long time. So
what does that mean, front-end?
Front-end is basically whatever faces the client, and mostly on the web, the client being the consumer that comes to your site or your application and is looking at your product. So front-end is normally used to describe front-end of a website. So, and front-end encompasses everything from the JavaScript that helps power the user interaction, the HTML and the CSS that helps style the presentation, and then also any kind of any kind of template language like PHP or something like that that helps do some basic template logic to make sure that the user's seeing what you want them to see whenever they hit a specific page or whatever.
Right. So if that's front end, what would back end be?
Back end would be something like the Java server or something like the MySQL database, the stuff that actually drives the application. So whenever a user says, okay, hey, I want to pay $1,000 to rent this property or whatever,
right.
The back end will take that information from the user, process it, do whatever it has to do, store it in the database so that you can look at the analytics later on that particular transaction or whatever it is, and then later on you can go in and the application actually helps, the back end helps give you all those analytics and let you see all that kind of stuff, see what happened, when it happened, stuff
got
like
it,
that.
Got it. What does most of the work? Is it equal front end and back end,
It's
or is
totally
it mainly
equal,
front
yeah.
end? Or
and it depends on who you talk to. If you talk to an engineer that's writing back end software, they're going to say, oh, it's the back end, that's the most work. If you talk to a front end guy, oh, it's the front end, that's the most work. So really what you want to have is you want to have somebody doing the back end, somebody doing the front end, maybe two people doing the back end and the front end. And it allows you to shorten up the project time.
Got it.
And really lets the people shine
Okay, makes
best at what
sense.
they're good at.
I've had this problem.
Big problem.
I really needed.
A good real estate broker.
And I kept searching and searching.
There are so many choices.
It's really hard to find one that has all the things on my list.
But I finally did it.
Yes. Thank you.
If you are looking for one as well, look no further.
Here's a really good one.
Just use mine.
Use mine.
I'm very satisfied.
Definitely recommend.
Problem gone.
Thank you.
Money Minutes, your quick trip to financial well-being. Now here's JoJo and Maricel Quiroz.
Hi, JoJo and Maricel here, your personal financial trainers, ready to give you your weekly money-making exercise. We do all the heavy lifting. All you have to do is flex your money muscle.
Welcome back to another segment of KMG Money Minutes. Today we have our good friend Rick Sharga, VP of Auctions.com, sharing his 5 tips on how to successfully bid on an auction online.
Well, if you're looking to purchase a property, auctions might be the way to go.
Hi, I'm Rick Sharga, Executive Vice President with Auction.com, coming to you from a live auction in Southern California with 5 investing tips. The first one is have a plan for the type of investment you're most interested in doing. My second tip is before you go into the market, get your financing in place. Third tip would be to have an exit strategy. If you are a buy and hold investor, understand how long you're going to keep that property, what you're going to need your average rental returns to be, and if that is something that you're looking to count on for your investment return as opposed to home price appreciation and ultimate resale value. Fourth tip is a little bit of motherhood and apple pie, but it's do your homework up front. And finally, if you're going to buy through an auction, make sure before you get to the auction, before you go to the auction online, you know what the price you're willing to pay for a property is. Those are my 5 tips for today. I hope they're useful for you, and good luck with your investing.
Keep on watching. So like if we worked on something here, do you think that's something that we could kind of work on, maybe a minimum viable product or like some sort of minimum app? When I go back to Santa Monica, we can hire I'll take you with me. We'll hire other programmers there, and then at that point you could be the lead. Is that something that could happen?
Absolutely, yeah. And so anytime you develop a piece of software like that, you want to set a realistic goal, and then you want to get to that goal as quickly as you can. Typically that's what you want to do, so that you do get that minimum viable product, see if it works, because if it doesn't work, it sounds like a great idea, but maybe there's something in the middle that we don't know yet that just may not work, so you'd hate to spend $250,000, $300,000 developing out this huge, deal, and then that doesn't work.
Right. So look,
I've had that moment before, and it's not fun.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you?
Oh yeah.
So is there a difference in between an app and a website?
Absolutely.
Or is an app a website?
Okay, so those are normally consumer-facing terms, right? So whenever you as a user, you pick up your phone, you use an app, or you go to your computer and you visit a website. To an engineer, they're really all the same kind of thing, and an app is short for application, right? And so basically, to an engineer or developer, the application is everything that is involved in making this thing work the way that it's intended to work. So from the back end to the front end, that's all considered an app or an application. But to a consumer, an app is different than a website. An app is something you download and you put on your phone from the App Store, and you hit the button, and that's all that app is. A website is you go to the browser like Chrome or whatever, and you can go to this website and that website and that website.
Gotcha.
So for most applications, it's all the same stuff. It's just a different interface for, I guess middleware is what you call it. So the stuff that connects the website to the back end,
Right.
and the stuff that connects the app to the back end. It's
Got
kind
it.
of what's called middleware. So.
Got it. I mean, I feel like I got this education from you right away. You know, I'm so close to Silicon Beach and Silicon Valley, but I think this was the first, honestly, meaningful conversation that I've had with a programmer. You know what I mean?
Wow, yeah.
So I thank you for that. But so, on your experience, can you tell me more about like what you've done? And you know, like if I was interviewing for a person to come into my company, I would always ask for experience.
Right.
You know what I mean? What kind of experience? Do you have?
Right.
Is what I'm saying, you know what I mean?
Fair question. So, the internet's not that old, and I'm a young guy. I'm only 32 years old. But since websites and the internet's been around, like AOL back in the 90s and stuff like that, I've always been online, doing stuff online, playing games or whatever. And when I was 16 years old, I started building websites. And I said when I was 16, kind of foolishly and not even really thinking, I'm going to build websites when I grow up. And here I am,
Is that what you
15,
said?
yeah, 15, 16 years later, and I'm building websites, and building some cooler stuff than that. So I got started very young with computers. I was, whenever the first computer I had, I was actually 10, and it was a 386 SX. It had like 4 megabytes of RAM. It had a 100 megabyte hard drive, like crazy, small stuff compared to what's in this honker,
Right.
And I read the manual from Microsoft DOS, like front to back, like 1,000-page manual. I read it, and
Did you understand it?
I did, yeah. It's just kind of like the Matrix, It just always clicked for me. I always understood how computers worked, and so I started very young, getting into computers and understanding how they worked and how they behaved. And just as I got older, I never had any real formal training. I never went to school for computer science or anything like that. I actually went to school for music. I was always a musician.
Right.
But computers always seemed to, I don't know, draw me. So
Call you.
Yeah. So right out of college, I started doing graphic design and building websites, just kind of basic. It was around 2001, so Flash was still big then. There was no such thing as HTML5. That was maybe in the works at that time. It was a really interesting time. I started building websites then, and my first website sucked. Man, it was so bad. It was the worst looking website you've ever seen.
Is it still up?
It was up.
Is it still up now?
It's not up
Okay,
anymore,
okay.
no, because actually it was a friend of mine that I went to church with. I built a website for their family business, and it was up until about 2 years ago when their family business closed down. So here in town, but it was up for a solid 12 years.
Wow.
And it was the same website up for 12 years,
Wow.
and so that was a lot of fun. You first go into whatever it is that you're doing. It's always kind of some people get lucky and strike it big the first time, but most don't. So I started building websites and just doing it more and more. And then as things progressed, I started getting more into the application side of things, and especially as websites became more advanced with things like WordPress or Drupal or content management systems that are powered by PHP. Developers, if you wanted to develop inside that sphere, you had to learn. You had to learn how to deal with PHP. And then as PHP grew through the 2000s into a much nicer object-oriented type of language, scripting language, my skill grew. And so that was really what got me into writing code and writing software. So about 2010, about 5 years ago, crazy time in my life, and everybody has those, right? Went through a divorce. I've got 3 kids. I went through a divorce, and I was like, God,
3 kids?
Yeah, I've got 3 kids. Yeah,
Okay.
man. 13, 11, and 8.
Okay.
Awesome boys. But went through divorce, and I was like, what am I going to do? And somebody approached me and said, hey, I'm building this piece of software. Can you come help me? And I hadn't done anything that big before, but I was like, yeah, I'm there, man. I'll help you.
I've had this problem.
Big problem.
I really, really needed.
A good real estate broker.
And I kept searching and searching.
There are so many choices.
It's really hard to find one that has all the things on my list.
But I finally did it.
Thank you.
If you were looking for one as well, look no further.
Here's a really good one.
Just use mine. Use mine.
I'm very satisfied.
Definitely recommend.
Problem gone.
Thank you.
Money Minutes, your quick trip to financial well-being. Now here's JoJo and Maricel Quiroz.
Hi, JoJo and Maricel here, your personal financial trainers, ready to give you your weekly money-making exercise. We do all the heavy lifting. All you have to do is flex your money muscle.
Hi everyone, welcome back to KMG Money Minutes.
Today we focus on a topic that everyone dreads, refinancing.
Well, hopefully after hearing these tips, it won't be so dreadful. Tips for refinancing. Tip number 1, make sure you have all your documents available so when you meet your loan officer, your application process is much smoother. Tips number 2, make sure you shop around with other lenders out there. Tip number 3, make sure you don't shop around too much because every credit pull could affect your credit score. Tip number 4, make sure you disclose to your loan officer any derogatory credit that you may have. For example, any short sales, foreclosures, and bankruptcies and collections. Tip number 5, don't believe every advertisement out there because interest rates are always subject to change.
Keep on watching.
And so I started building a big piece of software, and it was what I would consider as an entrepreneur my first failure. It was an application called Obsidio, and it was designed to be a document sharing kind of application, like for businesses, so the businesses could share documents and communicate internally, almost like an intranet. There's other services out there. One's called SharePoint from Microsoft. Another one's called Yammer. So it's kind of similar along those lines, but intended to be much, much simpler. But it turned out that creating something simple is really, really hard. Me and my business partner worked hard, and the advice I gave you about not using a one-man show, not having one horse to run the whole thing, that's personal experience, because I was the one horse, trying to put this whole thing together, and I got it together, but we just could never quite get it just right. And then right when we started to maybe get some traction, then somebody else came out with something that was like better than ours, and we're like, oh, crap. And then Microsoft bought Yammer for like $1 billion, and we're like, forget it, just screw it, we're gonna do something else. So,
Right.
So after that, it was about 2013, I actually went to a conference in Memphis, a conference called Everywhere Else, and it was a conference for startups everywhere else other than Silicon Valley. It was a really cool conference and cool idea. And the conference had an app, but I felt like an app just for the conference, but I felt like I could build a better app than that. So I started working on that, and I developed really rapidly, based off of the framework that I had already built for Obsidio. I rapidly developed a new framework for a new startup called Event Live.
Event Live.
Event Live, yep. And
is that up now?
It's up now, up and running right now. We're doing some engineering. I was working on it this morning.
So we could download an app, Event Live, on the App Store.
You can download it on your iPhone from the App Store. It's Event Live. You just search Event Live in the App Store, and it's the first one that comes up. It's also on Google Play.
So what does it do? What does your program do?
Well, initially it was meant to be an app for conferences, but really quickly we learned that it works really well for helping people find events. And so one of the things that we kind of found out as we started doing research into the event market is that anytime you go from one town to the next town, you're not really sure where to go to find events. It's like either a newspaper or maybe there's a local website. Over here on the East Coast, we have a newspaper called Creative Loafing that's in some major markets, and they have a lot of events, but it's always fragmented or segmented, and you never really know which site to go to. And there's always the big guys like Ticketmaster, where every major national touring act or comedian or whatever is on Ticketmaster. But whenever you go into a town, you want to find the cool events that's happening, kind of the more trendier events that really are kind of like a local event type thing. And nothing existed that brought all that together on one place. And so that was our goal with Event Live, was to try to build an app that allowed people to go anywhere they go in the United States, find events, the cool events that are happening nearby. And so we've kind of been building on that, but one thing that we learned with that is that doesn't make us any money. Helping people find events doesn't make us any money.
How do you monetize that?
Exactly. We've got to keep the lights on somehow. So we're just launching right now a beta version of our ticket sales system. So basically we're getting into the online ticket retailing. It's specific to the smaller and medium-sized events.
Yeah.
So Ticketmaster goes after those large events.
Huge events.
Yeah, but all the smaller to medium-sized events, the local festivals that are happening in town, like up here there's festivals like the Strawberry Fest or the wine festivals that happen in pretty much every town you go to. There's a wine festival at some point during the year. All those festivals, they're all trying to find somebody to help them sell tickets online, so help them promote their event and sell more tickets online. But also there's other things that they're looking for, like they want to get paid for their tickets. All the tickets that they sell, when am I going to get paid for these tickets? Or you're making money off of service fees off of my ticket. What about, can I make some more money off of that? And so that's one of the things that we're trying to do is help people, event organizers, sell more tickets, help them make some more money, and help get their money to them right away.
Right.
So
that's a good play.
Yeah, we just launched a beta system. We're taking invitations, sending out invitations right now to event organizers, especially down in Tampa,
right.
To onboard onto the system. Let's use the system, do some piloting, see how it works or whatever. But the great thing about it is that as soon as a consumer buys a ticket, you get your portion of that ticket goes straight into your bank account.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's
so
a good
you don't
play.
have to wait till the end of the week or wait till the end of the month or wait until the end of the event. Some systems require you to do that.
So you're rolling this out now.
Rolling it out right now. Yep.
That's cool, and then that's how you're gonna keep the lights on. You're gonna monetize.
That's how
that is so
working.
cool.
I've had this problem.
Big problem.
I really needed.
A good real estate broker.
And I kept searching and searching.
There are so many choices.
It's really hard to find one that has all the things on my list.
But I finally did it.
Yes. Thank you.
If you were looking for one as well, look no further.
Here's a really good one.
Just use mine. Use mine.
I'm very satisfied.
Definitely recommend.
Problem gone.
Thank you.
Money Minutes, your quick trip to financial well-being. Now here's JoJo and Maricel Quiroz.
Hi, JoJo and Maricel here, your personal financial trainers, ready to give you your weekly money-making exercise. We do all the heavy lifting. All you have to do is flex your money muscle.
Welcome back to KMG Money Minute. Ever hear of the B word? And I'm not talking beach. Here's a financial tool that can help you reset everything. Let's listen in on attorney Eric Ravel as he talks about his tips for bankruptcy.
Hi, I'm bankruptcy attorney Eric Ravel, and I have 5 tips for you today if you're considering filing bankruptcy. Tip number 1, you don't need to be broke to file bankruptcy. You just need to want to get rid of bad debt. The court will let you keep what you own, don't worry about it. Tip number 2, hire a lawyer, please. Don't do it yourself unless you want more chaos in your life. That little $1,500 investment is a great investment. Tip number 3, if you're in business, you can keep your business as is, particularly in the Chapter 13. Tip number 4, if you're being sued for money, don't wait, file Chapter 13 immediately to get rid of that lawsuit. Tip number 5, if you're facing foreclosure, file Chapter 13 immediately. It'll stop the foreclosure and give you breathing room.
Keep on watching. Well, this meeting I'm having with James is really exciting. I love technology. I love people that can create something out of nothing. And this is where all the money's at, in these new applications. I'm going to extend my meeting with James a little bit more because of this wealth of knowledge. And I finally found someone that I can connect with.
Right now.
Well, back on my side on DigiCrypt, I'm still trying to figure out a way how to monetize it. And I think I have, but I kind of like your idea on that. I mean, is there something that we could meet like later on and
Absolutely, yeah.
I can show you that? I covered TechCrunch as well. Have you ever been to TechCrunch?
I've never been, no.
Okay, look, have you been to California?
Been to California, yeah. Been to
Okay.
San Francisco.
Okay, so my office is in LA, so I'll invite you to LA and also to TechCrunch. I think it's coming up pretty soon, probably in the next few weeks. I'll see if I can get you an extra ticket.
Awesome.
And then I'm going to send you, well, you got your computer up here?
Yeah.
Here. Let me show you TechCrunch. Oh, is that all the programs?
Yeah, that's some code right there.
Oh, hey, that code's wrong. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Okay, so this is my coverage of TechCrunch, and you can see like what we did. And what we'll do is when you're there and I'm there, we'll come up with a game plan to not only help you with your idea, but so that you can help me be the lead in my idea. I mean, you'll be able to help out, right?
Absolutely,
okay,
yeah.
Cool. All right, I appreciate it. Okay, so check this out. This is TechCrunch right now.
Hi guys, and I'm here at the TechCrunch Disrupt. This is where all the basically software companies or new startups go to kind of showcase their wares and their inventions and their ingenious ideas to the world to either get a startup funding round going on or to, just launch it, whether it's a soft launch or hard launch. I'm here and we've been, going up and down. I mean, there's hundreds of people that are here now, hundreds of companies, I should say, that are here. And I wanted to talk to this, one of the inventors here, Ken, right? Ken, tell me a little bit about your product.
Yeah, My name is Ken Tamba. I live in Tokyo. Founder and CEO of Ideal Japan.
Okay, so you're the CEO of Ideal C, right? This is you can scan your fridge, right? And so
Picture or real object.
so you're gonna take an image of all these,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then you basically can categorize it, correct? Okay, you're gonna take a picture of a card right now. So it's basically scanning it, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And then what will it do when it scans it? It'll, oh my gosh, look at that. Oh, you're gonna set up a US company, where, in LA or San Francisco or?
Silicon Valley.
Silicon Valley, okay.
Do marketing here.
Got you.
Funding.
Okay, got it.
Okay, well, you can watch that at your leisure.
Yeah.
You know, I want to thank you for spending time with me. I don't want this to come. I want this to come out and be alive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I'll
Cool.
call you.
Pleasure.
All right, thanks, James.
Yes, sir.